also a former student. Uh, let's all welcome her. First, we will start this session by I would like to invite Father Baiju to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Cheryl. My dear faculty members and dear Anne, our resource person of the day, and my dear students, it has been noticed ever since the foundation of this college that many of our students who pursue their degree studies at DePaul were always interested and eager to pursue their further postgraduate and other research programs beyond India and going to other countries to collaborate with and work together and study together with the people, students across the globe. For sometimes, for some students, it has been a challenge because of the finance involved in it. But for many others, those who are financially stable, it was a great and viable option. And it is with great joy that we are able to see that the dreams of our students becoming a reality, at least in the case of some students, people like Anne, who are in Canada, and we have another couple of students already in Canada, and a couple of them are already in England. Another few of them are in Australia. Others are in um, Russian Republic, those countries. So, and still more, as we talk to our alumni, we find there are still students who are intending to move beyond India and our border and meet with students and faculty members of other esteemed universities and countries to make themselves competent in this modern world, and to make their profile and their options for better careers in this world. So, knowing fully well that this is a kind of, even today when we sit in the college and counsel students who are intending to come to the college to study here, many of them ask that question: what is beyond the degree programs in DePaul? Is there an option for any further studies abroad? And what sort of options do we provide? And to some of the students who and their parents who talk to us these days concerning their admission to the college and their future, one thing they ask, is there a placement option? And I always say, well, placement option is there, but our experience has been so far that majority of our students go to do further postgraduate studies or professional studies either in India or abroad. Very few of them have taken up jobs soon after their degree studies. So, having seen this as a pattern in our college right from the very beginning, we thought this should be addressed. Our career guidance cell of the college should open up venues for our students to understand the options and opportunities which are available in the world, um, and so make these informations present to the students right on time so that they're able to think about, having known these kind of facts and information, they're able to think about their future and plan their future. How early can they plan? So good it is for them to pursue their dreams and move forward without wasting so much of their money and so much of their time. Time is very precious. It's with that kind of desire that we thought the career guidance cell will think about offering this sort of workshops or seminar webinars to our students so that they are aware of the realities which are present before us and open for us and for our students. So it is with this idea that Career Guidance Cell um, asked Anne whether she'll be willing to share her experience. Well, more than probably more than a big theoretical presentation, and would be sharing to us and sharing to our students what has been her experience being a student of our own college at DePaul. Then what sort of kind of steps she had to take in order to reach this place right now as a student in Lambton College, and to do a project management course there. And so what are the challenges that she had to face? And had I known these challenges, had I known these options early, I could have done these things much harder, so that I don't have to wait. I know Anne had to wait a few months after her studies to travel to Canada. So, and then what options are there in Canada when they come there to in terms of study, in terms of financing, in terms of work options. So these are some of the things that we want our students to know, so that ahead of time they can plan if they want to. And so is in this direction. Definitely it is a great honor to have one of our alumni to share her experience. And Anne has been always a fantastic person to collaborate with. Anytime we ask Anne any help, Anne was always there. And so, Anne, it is with the great joy that we are kickstarting. I'm saying kickstarting this kind of webinars and programs to our students with you, from your own personal experience. And even I know Anne is right now, not only she has experience of having navigated this process and reached there and doing it, but also she is working with same organization that helped her to go, same agency. She's working as a kind of counselor for them. So she'll be able to still help us with a lot of questions. So it'll be a time for us to listen to Anne. At the same time, towards the end, any student or any teachers, any faculty members who are joining us, anybody wants to have further clarification, that'll be a best option for us to know more. So, Anne, it is left to you. So in a way, I welcome all our faculty members who are joining us, and especially a great welcome at the same time, welcome to all our students. I remember Joshi sir did all kind of arrangement, but he could not be here due to an urgent, very serious need. He had to go to Kerala, but he'll be joining us in spirit in praying for us that this goes well. So, in the name of the college, I want to invite all of you to this webinar, and to Anne, especially welcome. And now it is Anne's platform.
Thank you so much, Father. Like, it means a lot. And I don't know how for you guys are excited, but I'm like super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be back. I feel like I didn't leave Deepal yet. So, yeah, I mean, firstly, good to see that a lot of people have joined. And a big hi to everyone. Can you just send me a hi? Because I'm not very sure about where I can see the messages. So if you all don't mind, can you just send me a hi? And how are you? Where are you? Okay, yeah, I can see the message right now. So yes. So how are you all? Like, where are you? Are you guys in Mysore or are you guys in back home in Kerala or wherever? So where are you guys right now? It would be okay. I can see a lot of highs popping up. Okay, cool. So where are you guys right now? I mean, I know it's super hard to on the mic and speak because I go through online classes almost every single day. So I know it's really hard to open your mic and speak. But the least I expect is you can just send me a message in the chat. I mean, I can go through the messages if you have any questions. But so, as Father mentioned before, this is not like I don't want to do a whole lot of very theoretical presentation. This is all about my experiences and things that I really wished when I was in my final year or when I was in my college, when I was planning to do my studies abroad. I wish these things were told to me by someone. So these are the things that I want to put in this presentation. and very common basic things that everyone should know if you're planning to migrate to Canada. So I'll be majorly focusing on Canada alone here. And if you guys have any other questions regarding any other places, just feel free to shoot in. And if I don't know the answer to your question, I wouldn't be answering it right now because I don't want to give any false information to you. So what I'd be doing is I'll be taking a note of the question, and then I would discuss it with my team and get back to you. So whatever I know, I've been here for about 8 months. So whatever I know, whatever I have been through, I'm not gonna sugarcoat everything. Trust me, it's not very easy. And but at the same time, things are beautiful and there are challenges and there are challenges and there are good things. But at the same time, blunt as much as possible, because if you go to an agency, they're gonna sugarcoat everything. They would be like, it's going to be so easy, you gonna mean, but that's not the reality, to be honest. So I'm just gonna keep things as much as short and precise. At the same time, I'll try to convey whatever possible. So without further ado, let's get started. And yeah, okay, there we go. I hope my screen is visible to you guys. And
Yes.
is it visible? Thank you. Cool. So let's get started. There we go. So firstly, I thought about why did I choose Canada? I mean, I could have gone to the States or the UK or Australia, New Zealand. I had like these were my five options, to be honest. And it wasn't an easy decision, Canada, because I knew everyone was going to Canada, but I wasn't quite sure if I should be taking Canada. So I'll tell you why did I choose Canada over the other four places that I mentioned right now. Firstly, what I felt was the fees was very affordable and the living expenses too, especially the place where I live. As an international student, the living expense is kind of affordable for me. And the fees, of course, we all are Indians. Money is like our first thing that we look into when we go. So for me, I felt UK and States, I felt the fees was a little more on the expensive side when compared to Canada. Another thing, what excited me the most was I could earn while I was learning. Like you have an option, it's an option, it's not a mandatory thing. You can always do part-time jobs while you're studying. Like you can work for 20 hours. I'll come to that later. I have put a separate slide on that. So, yes, this is one of the factors that you are allowed to work while you learn. And it's not only for Canada, it's for every place. But again, another thing is this was one of the most important thing, immigration opportunity. Like when it comes to Canada, if you take a 1 year program or a 2 year program, they offer you you can stay back once you're done with your studies. But in the States, that's not possible. Like once you're done with your studies, you'll have to leave. UK also have a very shorter stay back. And the best part about having stay back is once you finish your course, like if you do a 1 year master's program, you get 1 year stay back. If you do a 2 year program, you get like 3 years solid stay back. And within that time, you can find a job and then you work for 1 year and then you can apply for your PR. I mean, that's really cool. I feel, I mean, the kind of money that you're investing, in return, you're becoming a permanent resident of this country. So that is like the one of the main factors which attracted me to Canada. Even though if I'm spending a little bit of money, I mean, I can be a PR here, so why not? The next thing was COPE. So, if you take a 1 year program or a 2 year program, most of the universities and colleges in India offer something called as COPE, which is more or less I'm doing my project management and mostly most of the program, it's not mandatory for every program, but yeah, most of the programs, if it's a 2 year program, the fourth term would be a COPE. So what happens here is once you complete your studies, so once you're done with your studies, you not only have the knowledge, you also have like solid industry experience. If your college is like really good, they themselves offer you the co-op position, or you can find it. It's not a big deal. Like there are a lot of openings for co-op positions alone. So this was another one of the things that attracted me towards Canada, and definitely a better quality of life. I mean, I don't really have to elaborate on that. It's a very known thing regarding Canada. I mean, smallest of the smallest, what to say, when I mean the quality of life, I would say the medical care that we get here, or the public transport, like small things that I have experienced. I mean, I feel it's a little, what to say, a step ahead than what we could get in India. So these are like the main factors that attracted me towards Canada, comparing to other countries. So if you want, I can just give you a quick run about the other four countries that I mentioned before here. So, or I'll do it towards the end. I guess that would be better. Okay. The next step would be, most of you, I've heard like from our college itself, many had approached me asking regarding masters and MBA. So I am doing a PG diploma, and there is something, we have masters as well here. So which one is the right choice for you? So you can do a 1 year PG diploma or a 2 year PG diploma. You can do your 1 year master or your 2 year masters. That's up to you. Again, when, as I mentioned before, 1 year program offers only 1 year stay back. 2 year program, however, offers 3 years stay back. And that's the reason most of them prefers a 2 year program over a 1 year program. So what's the difference between a PG diploma and a master's? Both are not the same. It's both the postgraduate programs, but still, when it comes to a PG diploma, I feel it's more affordable. PG diplomas are offered by colleges. However, masters are offered by universities, and universities can be on a little expensive side, little expensive when compared to a PG diploma, which is offered by a college. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not like a second grade thing or something. It's more or less the equal thing. At the end of the day, you have a Canadian degree with you, and that's what matters at the most when it comes to the job market. So even if you take a PG diploma or a master's, like if you feel, okay, let me be honest. If you have the plans of migrating and to get your work, your master's, your postgraduate done in a much easier way, I would suggest PG diploma because that's a lot easier to learn. And if you are more of, what to say, studies oriented, and if you feel um, like, yeah, studies oriented, you can go for the masters in an university. So this is my suggestion. If you want a little bit of shortcut and easier way, go for the PG diploma. It's much more cheaper. And if you feel like, no, I want to study, studies is my first priority. I mean, yeah, it should be your first priority when you're studying. But yeah, you can go for the masters. So this is a rough idea between, and the credits that I mentioned here, 120 and 180. It's basically when you apply for the PR, that's when these credits matter. Okay, moving on. So this is like the first and the major question that I get a lot, like what's the difference between it? So I thought I'll just clear that first and then we'll move on to the rest. So yes, so in Canada, unlike in India we just have one intake, which is May. But unlike in India, in Canada we have three intakes, not major, three intakes. The first one being Jan, which is known as the winter intake, and then we have the May intake, which is the summer intake, and then we have September, which is the fall intake. So September, the fall intake is a very big intake. Like almost all, not almost all the programs will be open. All universities will be accepting your applications. All the colleges will be accepting your applications. So September fall is like a major intake for Canada. And then we have January intake and then May intake. So after September, the fall intake, we have January intake. So January is like the second biggest. So again, in January, they have a lot of programs open, not everything, but yeah, let's say about a 70 to 60% of your courses will be open. And the smallest intake is the main intake, wherein only a few programs will be open. But yeah, these are the three main intakes. So, for example, if you complete your degree, let's say September, you can look for the Jan intake or for the May intake, but it's always better because when it comes to the Jan or the May, it's not necessary that all the programs will be open. So if you can give some time, just give it for the September intake. Or if you find your program is available for Jan or April, just go for it. So yes. Now, Another question, where to start? So, first and foremost, start with your IELTS. I mean, this is not something that I copy pasted from the internet. This is something that I'm talking from my experience. Start with your IELTS. Like even if you're doing your degree right now, where you can start is start with your IELTS. Start with your coaching. I mean, it's not IELTS is nothing but an English language test. So in order to apply for a university or a college in Canada, you will need to have the proof that you are what is it, good enough to speak. I mean, you are okay with the language. So it's super easy. I mean, if you want, you can go for a coaching, or there are a lot of materials available on the internet. You can just simply Google and you would find a lot of materials. So if you want, you can go for a coaching, maybe a 2 month or a 1 month or a 15 day, that's up to you. I mean, I went for a coaching. I took up a 1 month coaching, and trust me, I barely entered the class because I felt like it was a waste of money. I mean, it was not a small amount, it was a really big amount. So, but if you feel like you're okay, you can communicate in English at the end of the day. I mean, it's okay even if you don't go for a coaching. Maybe you can take up a 10-day crash course or something. Otherwise, you have a lot of YouTube videos and you have a lot of materials available on the internet. You can just Google and practice, up to you. At the end of the day, practice is the most important thing when it comes to IELTS. It's not about the coaching or it's not about the classes that you attend. Practicing is very important. Okay. The next is so this can go in parallel. Like when you're preparing for your IELTS itself, you can do your research on your colleges or universities and the courses. So this is something that I didn't really do. Like I depended on an agency, like I blindly depended on an agency to do my research, wherein something that I should have done on my part. So don't do that. Do your research. I mean, when you start doing your research itself, you will be able to understand a lot of things. So do your research in colleges, and when you look for colleges, there is something that I would like to say. Like, don't look for colleges that are a lot towards the interior. Like, for example, okay, since you're not, I mean, when you look for the colleges, feel free to just ping me, and you can definitely ask me. Like, or this is the thing. When you look for colleges which are a little bit towards in the city rather than towards the interior, because it will be difficult for you to find part-time jobs there. So it's always better to look somewhere near the city, or yeah, that's the thing. So do your research. That is very important. Take your time, take your good time, and do your research when before you apply, before you go to an agency, or before you speak with a consultant. Do your research. This is very important because this is something that I didn't do, and I really regret about that. So yeah, that's why I'm emphasizing on this fact a lot. Do your research. And the next thing would be once you're done with your IELTS and once you've done your solid research, apply. Apply for the university or the college or whatever program you're interested in. And then you wait for the offer letter. So you would receive it. So the offer letter might take about 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, you can even get it in 1 week. The maximum it would go would be a 6 weeks. And then once you receive the offer letter, you accept the offer letter by paying the tuition fee. So again, I'll be talking about in my next slide, I'll be talking about the cost breakdown, like how much is it gonna be for each. And then you create something called as a GIC account. So GIC account is nothing but you create an account, bank account in Canada, and you would be depositing a certain amount of money here. So it's just to show that you're financially stable. Even if you come to Canada, you have money with you. So just to show that, and this money can be used for your own expenses. Like when you come to Canada, every month you would be getting a certain amount, and this money can be used for your own expenses. So what people do is they don't really use this money. Like including me, I haven't really used this money except for some dollars. Like when I came to Canada, I didn't have anything with me, so I had to use it. Apart from that, I have saved up so that I can use this money to pay my tuition fee. So that's something that everyone does here. Next up, you take your medicals just to show that you're medically fit. Like they would take your blood test, and then what else? Yeah, they would check your height and weight. So yeah, I mean, these are the three things that they would take. you do your medicals and then you apply for your visa, and then you get your visa approved, and then you catch a flight and you come to Canada. So this is pretty much it. I mean, many of the agencies, they might try to confuse you, so I don't want that to happen with you guys. So these are the pretty 10 simple steps that you got to be following when you're coming here. Just be aware of these things. I mean, that's all at the end of the day what we want you to know. So yes, this is like a small time frame. So like if you ask me what is the earliest or earliest that I should be applying if I have to come to Canada, I would say give it at least a 6 months. If you can, 1 year. 1 year is like super good. Or if not, give it at least a gap of 6 months. So for example, here if I'm applying for the May intake, so this is a breakdown for the May intake. So here I've started 1 year in advance. So here you firstly, if you want, you can research about your college and then you write your IELTS. So April, June, you can take your sweet time to research about the colleges, and then you write your IELTS, and then you apply for the colleges by September, December, and then November, January, you wait for your offer letter, and then January, February, you can apply for your loan. If you're looking for a loan, you can apply for a loan, and then you accept the offer letter, and then the rest of the procedures, like then you submit for your visa. So yeah, give it at least a 6 months. 6 months is needed. Like otherwise, I mean, you never know, especially in this situation. I would say at least 6 to 7 months minimum. Yeah, that time period should be given. Otherwise, things can be a little messy. Okay, now coming to the cost breakdown. So, firstly, as I mentioned before, IELTS. So, in order to write your IELTS exam alone, it would be 14,150 rupees. So, I haven't really mentioned the rupees here. So, yeah, everything is in rupees here. So, it would be 14,150 rupees. I'm not sure if this has changed, but as far as I know, this is the amount. I don't know. They keep changing it. They just keep adding 50 and 100 every now and then because they know a lot of students are taking it. So every now and then, every time I try to book a test for someone, I see they just simply shoot up a 50 or a 100. I mean, no one is there to question them. So again, next up would be the tuition fee. So your tuition fee can range up to 9 to 15 lakhs. Depends. I mean, if it's university, it's going to be even higher. It might go up to a 20 lakh or something. I'm not sure. Because yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I would really suggest a college. I mean, let's just go simple, but again, it's up to you. And the next thing would be a GIC account, like I mentioned before, the account which you can use when you come here. So that would be about 10,000 CAD, which is around 6 lakh. Again, it's not the correct amount. Like, I don't know the rates for today. So it's around 6 lakh. And then you take something called as medical, which would be about 5,000 rupees. And then you do your biometrics in order to apply for your visa. So that would be around 13,280. Again, this is an amount which I did like 2 months back. So I'm not sure what's the amount right now precise. And then your ticket would cost about, if you book it the earliest, you can get it about in 35, 40,000. And if you book a ticket at the last minute, I mean, I booked a ticket at the last minute, and for me it was about 85,000. So it can go up to 1 lakh, 2 lakh as well. But yeah, if you book it in advance, you can get it for about 40 to 70,000. And yes, the work and study options here. So, as an international student, like I mentioned before, you can work for 20 hours a week, and then you would be getting, like, the place where I live is called Ontario. And here, the minimum wage is $14 per hour. And yeah, and during, like I mentioned before, if you take a 2 year program, you would have 4 semesters, and in between the 4 semesters, like you have your first term, second term, and then you would have a break in between. So you would have a 4 month break. So during the 4 month break, you can work full time and you can save up for your tuition fees. So all you got to be knowing initially is your first year tuition fees. The second year tuition fees can be made after coming here, or if you can save up your GIC, you can use that for your second year tuition fees as well. So yes, you can work for unlimited hours during the break. No one is going to stop you. You can work as much as you want. So yes, now another question that I get often. which college is good, which university is good. So if you want, you guys can take a picture of it. I wanted to put this in the chat, but that's okay. You guys can just take a picture of it. So just as we have states in India, we have something called as provinces here in Canada. So I live in a province called Ontario, and this is a province wherein a lot of international students come in every year because it's pretty cheap. Like the living expenses are pretty cheap here, and it's a good place to live. So yes, I hope this would serve the purpose, and these are some of the colleges that I would highly recommend. Like they're really good colleges. Like so, next up, if you ask me which is the cheapest place to live in Canada, I guess it would be Quebec. But there are a lot of drawbacks with Quebec as well. That I mean, my first preference was Quebec, but as I did some research in Quebec, there are a few things. Like if you want to know in detail, just give me a message. I'd be more than happy to get in detail. So yeah, these are some of McGill is like I guess the in the world itself, it's like the top second university or something, I believe. And British Columbia is a beautiful place. Like it has a weather which is more or less what we have in India, is what I heard. I haven't been there, but I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, it's a beautiful place to live. But the only thing is, things are a little expensive there. So if you want, you can just come to Ontario, finish your program, and then you can move to BC. Like it's a beautiful place to settle. That's what I've heard. And then we have Alberta, and then we have some other few universities that I've put in here. So you can just take a picture of it, and yeah, moving forward. So now I've spoke about all the good things about Canada, like how good it is and what you can do and stuff. So it's not really the good things, man. There are, I mean, as you see my face, I'm like a little tired and puffy. That's because I stayed up yesterday till 1 to do my assignment. So, yeah, let's get to that. So, what are the difficulties that international students, and I'll talk about myself as well. The first thing what I felt was the weather because I came in the month of October, and November is when the winter starts. So, the winter can be a little harsh because it's not at all like what we have experienced back in India or back in any place, I would say. I mean, winter can be like super harsh initially because the worst part is you don't know how to dress according to the weather. I mean, it takes you some time to understand for what temperature, what kind of clothes are needed. So, for example, if it's like a -10, then you would know, okay, you just need a thermal and maybe a sweatshirt and a normal jacket. So, if it's like a -20, so then you would know, okay, you need a thermal and then you need another top. So, you need like a different layers and different jackets. So, all those things was initially a little difficult. And then once it starts snowing, you need the boots. So, all those things, weather was a little difficult for me to adjust. And then finding a part-time. So finding a part-time work is not, I wouldn't say it's a very difficult thing, but it's all about the right mindset. Like if you say, so it's not at all, once you come in, it's not really easy to get an office job. By God's grace, somehow I was fortunate enough, but that's not the case with every student. Like back home, if you have like how I mean, it's not really necessary that you always start with an office job. You might have to start in a warehouse or a restaurant or in Walmart or Home Depot, somewhere like that, a departmental store or a restaurant or a fast food chain or somewhere like that. So it can be a little, if you are very adamant that you're not going to do that kind of jobs, you're not going to do any sort of labor jobs, you would only prefer an office job, things can be a little difficult there because that's not quite easy. Because I know doctors and engineers who work at the Amazon warehouse, it's not because they are students, and once you complete your studies, it will be easy for you to much easier for you to find a job. But during the studies, finding a part-time job is not the difficult part. But if you feel like, no, I'm not going to do this job, that can be a little difficult. Okay, Moving on, the next thing, feeling a little anomic. Like you leave your entire family, you come to an entirely new country. Unlike like from Kerala to Mysore, like you take a bus and you can go home and you can meet your parents there. But here, that's not the case. Like you don't even know whom to trust or whom to hang out or what to say. You wouldn't have any friends. Like I still remember for the first few months I had a cousin here. I used to go to her place almost every Saturday or Sunday because I didn't know anyone else in my workplace also. Like it's just me and then two other girls, that's it. So I didn't have any friends and I had to hang out with my sisters for about 2 to 3 months. And then slowly I started picking up, I started meeting people, especially I guess because of this lockdown situation. I couldn't really meet anyone, but yeah, things are getting better. And another thing is, you will have to manage everything by yourself, like cooking and cleaning, and then what to say, doing your laundry, assignments. Assignments is not like what we have in Deepal. Trust me, things can be a little hectic at times because they have a standard which is like really high. So in order to meet the standards, it can be a little demanding initially. So after some time, you would get used to it. So I'll talk to you about my Monday routine. Like today is Wednesday, so I'll talk to you about my Monday routine. So Monday morning, I woke up at 7:30, and then Sunday night I slept pretty late, so that's a different story. So Monday I woke up at 7:30, and then I got ready 8:30. I went for my job. 9:39 I had to be there. 9 till 1:30 I was doing my job, and then 1:30 I left. 2 I was back home. 2 to 8 I had classes, and then from after the class I just ate something, and then 8:30 we had to do our assignments. So we have to sit in group and do our assignments. So from 8:30 to 10 I did my assignments, and then 10 I had to cook something for the next day. I ate and then I slept. So it can be a little tiring at times, but in one way, if you for me, I would see keeping myself engaged, or it can be a little demanding when you have to manage everything by yourself. And the next thing is dealing with finance. Like it's not going to be very easy because you have to take care of each and everything by yourself, paying your rent and paying your tuition. So you will have to save up. You can't just simply spend money like that. I mean, things can be a little expensive here, but after some time, for the first 5 months first 5 or 6 months, I didn't order anything from Uber. Like Uber Eats back in India, we used to almost like order like almost every what to say 2 to 3 days we used to have from outside. But after coming to Canada, I mean, food is a little expensive here. So if anyone is coming to planning to come, make sure you eat well before coming because yeah, I mean now I order because now I've what to say. It's not like I've become rich, but somewhere I found that what to say. I don't know how to say it. So yeah, that's the thing. So dealing with finance, and if you're take another thing, and if you're planning to take a loan, don't think that as soon as you come in by doing the part-time job, you would be able to pay off your loan. That's not gonna happen. So it would take some time. You can definitely pay it off. But it would take some time. Like once you finish your studies, and then once you find a proper stable job, because the part-time, it's only for I mean, it would be only enough for like your expenses and your tuition, and maybe you can save up a little as well, but not a lot of money. Don't think that after coming to Canada you would be able to send money to your parents and stuff. At least for the first few months you wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I understood. But if you ask me as of now, if I can send money to my parents, I think I can do that now because it's been 8 months. So as I mentioned before, somewhere or the other I have found that spot, the right place right now. So yeah, these are my experiences. And now moving on, I would like really love to know from your side, like what are your questions, what are your concerns? Like if there is anything, feel free to shoot, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. So there we go. Where do I If you have any questions, I mean, I'd be more than happy. You don't really have to even open your mics. Like, just send me a text, and I think, I mean, whatever I know, I try to answer them. Mm. So yeah, I'm waiting for questions from your side. I spoke about my experiences and stuff. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm waiting. No, okay. No
Yeah.
questions. Means you
Okay,
have.
there's a question
Okay.
there. There's a question there
Okay.
in the
I
chat
mean,
box.
where can I see the chat box? Hmm, okay. Okay. Gaming field. Okay. As soon as we, before we end the session, I'd like to share some resources like you guys can use it. So if you ask me what is the scope for each and every field, I'm not quite sure about that. But I can, like, if you, even if you want, you can just go to Google and go to Indeed and then type whatever field that you're looking for. Like, if you're looking for gaming, you can just Google. I'm sorry, you can just go to Indeed and search gaming, so you can see what is the demand or what kind of specialists are they looking for in gaming. Because I'm not quite sure about that. So yeah, this is something that you can do because you go to indeed.ca, not in India, indeed.ca, and then you can type whatever job titles are related to gaming. You can just type them, and then you can see if you there are a lot of openings. Definitely, then it has a good demand. If it doesn't have much openings, then I'm sorry, it doesn't have a good demand. So yeah, that's what I have to say. A beat for any course. But I always felt that technical courses, okay, this is something that I wanted to actually tell you guys. So if you go to an agency, they would definitely suggest some very generic courses like international business, global business management, and stuff. So rather than choosing courses like that, it would be always recommended if you go for something very specific. Rather than generic, try to go for some specific courses like yeah, some focused courses. For example, if you take accounting, just don't take rather than taking the course, just taking the accounting course alone. You can there are a lot of options like there are fraud and investigation, and then the strategic accounting. Like there are plenty of different specializations here. Unlike in India, just basic degrees, here you can find plenty of specializations. Just read through the like even in their college website, just read through their syllabus, so you would understand if you are interested in that or not. You would be able to understand. So make sure you read the syllabus, and if it interests you, then you go speak with an agency. Because if you go to an agency, they would just simply, what to say, give you some very generic courses. So rather than doing that, uh, this is something that you can do. Uh, Try to go for something focused and technical courses. Medical field also has a really good demand here. Accounting has a good demand here. Like, oh, Canadians have to file their taxes every year. So if anyone is interested in accounting, I guess they also have a pretty good chance here. Just like we have ACCA in India, we have something called as CPA here in Canada. So if you pursue CPA, then you can make some sweet money. So yeah, that's what I have heard. So yes.
Thank you, Anne. Uh,
Okay.
Thank you, and I hope it helped John. There's another question from Amala from BCom final year. Her
Okay.
question is, how much would be the monthly expenses?
Monthly expenses. Okay. I can say it in CAD, but I'm not quite sure what it would be in rupees. Okay. So starting with, you pay your rent. So you'll have to pay your rent, which is I mean, don't convert don't convert everything in rupees. I mean, so yeah, I'd say in CAD. So it would be around, you can get a place as cheap as $300 to $400. So that is like an, don't pay anything more than that. Okay. I mean, that can be a lot of expense if you pay anything more than 300 or 400. So when you look for a place, make sure you look somewhere within that. So yeah, 300 to 400 for your house. And then we need a bus card, which is called a Presto. So that I'd recharge for $100, and for me it would go for about a month and a half. It depends on how far you, I mean, how often you travel. So if you're a person who travels every day, Then yeah, I mean, if I recharge for 100, it would go for a month and a half for me. So yeah, 300 to 400 for rent, 100 for the Presto. 100 for the Presto is not a monthly expense, but it can be recharged every 2 months or every month and a half. And then for your groceries, I mean, if you are doing your cooking by yourself, I would say, I mean, I do my groceries every once in 2 weeks, and I would spend about $30 to $40 for my groceries. Yeah, I mean, it depends if I buy a lot of meat and fish, that's a different story. I mean, it might be another $10 extra. So yeah, on an average, $30 to $40. Let's say maximum 50. So monthly it would be around 100 maximum. That's a maximum. I'm sure it wouldn't be that much. And it depends again how much you eat and stuff. So yeah, monthly about 100. And then what else? What else? So yeah, I mean, because it's lockdown, I don't really go anywhere outside. It's very sad to say that, but still, yeah, I mean, we don't really go. I mean, things just started easing here. The restrictions have been slowly lifting. So yeah, these are the main expenses. I can't really think of anything else right now. What else? So yeah, I mean, house, food, and then you already pay for your tuition, and then yeah, these are the so again, if you go for shopping and stuff, that's different. So these are the basic expenses. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I hope that Amala doesn't have any doubt regarding that. So there's another question from Mamta ma'am, which of course maybe everyone has a doubt. That is, what are the required criterias to get selected for a course?
Okay. Again, getting an admission in a college is very easy. I mean, if you have a basic degree and if you're good with your IELTS, for IELTS, it is a band system, so it is scored out of 9. So if you get even a 6.5, you're like good to go for an admission. So all you need is a degree, your degree transcripts, and then your degree completion certificate. And then you need at least a minimum of a 55 to 60% in your degree, and then IELTS. Yeah, that's it. And then you submit your school documents. And if you are a pass out of 12th, I mean, the high school certificates are also more than enough in order to apply for it. I mean, there isn't like a lot of requirements when it comes to just clear your IELTS, like, and then you submit your degree documents. You can submit your degree provisional as well, and you're good to go with the admissions. Like, if you have an IT background, and then if you submit for a business course, there are chances there might be a rejection, but still, otherwise, if you are in business, you can easily get in. If you go for an IT to business also, it's not a difficult thing to get in, but it depends on the college. Like the colleges that I have mentioned, it's almost first come first, seats go out that way, first come first serve basis. So just apply early. That's the important thing. Universities, they would definitely have a lot of criterias, like which I'm not quite sure about because I don't really deal with universities. I mostly deal with colleges. And again, that's something that I would recommend. Okay. I hope that answers your question, ma'am.
There's an additional question from ma'am that is, apart from UG percentage, any other service certificates add extra benefit to fetch a seat or any grant support for the course?
Grant support? You mean like scholarship?
I guess
Is that
that's what she
uh,
means here.
Yes,
Is it a
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, there are colleges, there are a lot of colleges that offer scholarships as well. I mean, it varies from college to college. You will have to meet their criteria in order to be eligible for the scholarships. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of colleges and universities which offer scholarships. So if you meet their criterias and if you, there might be a certain level of percentage, and you will, I guess for IELTS, you will need a band of 8 in order to be eligible for the scholarship. Again, it varies from college to college. Sorry. So yeah, it varies from college to college. And if you have certificates, and it's definitely a add-on. I mean that, like I mentioned before, it's mostly it's first come first serve basis. So what differentiate you from an other student? So if you have these certificates, those are definitely an add-on. If you have a work experience, I mean, with a person who doesn't have a work experience and he doesn't have any certificates, comparing to a person who has some work experience and who has some certificates or internships, I mean, whom would you choose? Definitely this person, right? So yeah, that's it. Mm, any other question?
Yeah, there's another question from Durga Prasad. He's
Okay.
asking that what is the difference you find between Indian universities and Canada universities?
Okay. Uh, Definitely. Okay. This can be a little tricky because I haven't really been to, I mean, I did my whole course online, so I don't know about the campus experience or the university life there. I mean, I am really missing out on that. But program wise, I feel they're more focused on whatever. If, for example, I'm doing project management. So my teachers are project managers, and so they talk like it's not just more than theory, they focus on assignments. For me, if I have a 3 hour class, my first 1 hour would be lecture, and the rest 2 hour would be maybe a quiz or assignments. They focus more on assignments rather than a lot of theoretical teachings. So that's one difference that I found. Back in India, it's like we have 1 hour lecture and then assignments have a very less percentage. But here, if you take 100% for me, 70 to 80% would be assignments, and the rest 20 to 30% would only be quiz. And there are even subjects where I had just 10% for quiz. Quiz is like my final exam, and the rest whole was for they concentrate a lot more on presentations and assignments. You get a lot of assignments. In one way, it's good, like rather than just mugging up just based on some theory. If you learn some theory, you get like you know how to work on a project. Like for me, since I'm doing my project management from for my course, we started with a project. We have been working. We it's even though we haven't really executed the project, it more or less uh, we have done the same. We create documents. We have to do presentations on that. So yeah, that's the one of the major difference that I felt. In India, I felt it's more of theory, but here it's you are all good to go for the what to say work environment. So yeah, that's the difference that I felt personally. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So there's another question from Rahul. He's
Okay.
asking if we need full-time work experience because in University of British it is a requirement.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing with universities. They do ask for 3 to 4 years of experiences. However, there are universities which do not require any experience. They do take in fresh grads as well. So if they require, I mean, we can't do anything about that. I mean, yeah. So there are universities like I am more familiar with Ontario, so I can talk. I mean, with confidence, I can talk about Ontario. Like, let's say York and Brock University and all, they don't really require any sort of work experience. So, whatever requirements that are there for colleges, it's the same thing for universities as well, like the ones. So, yeah, if you go for top universities, definitely they require uh, voluntary experiences and then work experience, at least 3 to 4, especially if you take an MBA program and all. If you take an MBA in HR, they want you to have HR experience. So, yeah. I mean, if you see the requirement, definitely they do need it. There is nothing that we can do about it. So, yeah. Anything else?
Okay, so I guess the students have enough questions. There's, Mamta ma'am has asked a question like, since you're working with the agency, can we think about any sort of student exchange programs?
Student exchange. Can you be a little more precise? I mean, I didn't quite get it. Student exchange in the sense. Ma'am,
Between your college and the Paul College, is there any chance we can
oh,
have
ma'am,
either
I
in the form
work.
of virtual or in the form of cultural exchange or specific subject area?
Okay, ma'am, I don't really work with my college. I work for a different agency. I mean, I used to work with them in India. And then when I came here, I mean, he had a company here as well. So that's how I started working here. It has nothing to do with my college, unfortunately. So,
Okay. Is there any way that we can find the ways for such programs through
mm,
agency?
I'm not quite sure about that. I'll have to get
Okay,
back to
fine.
you because yeah, we'll have to get, I mean, yeah, I can talk to them, but
Probably. Yeah, you have to surf a little bit or find out so that you can think about, or we can do a little bit research on that, survey on that.
yeah, sure. I can definitely do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Problem. So yes. Any
Thank
more
you,
questions?
ma'am. There's another question from Mokshit. He's studying in final year BCom.
Okay.
He's getting course is easy, but do you think that one might get a job there because of the competition for being a localist in abroad?
Uh, Not a big deal. I mean, if you have the right degree, if you have the right attitude, and then if you're, it's all about the right attitude. Like they definitely prefer a person who has a Canadian diploma over a person who doesn't have that. That's what I understood. And then it's not very hard to find a job. I mean, if you have the right attitude, at least that's what I have heard people say. Initially, like during your studies, it might be a little difficult for you to find like a proper office job or the kind of job that you're looking for. But once you complete your studies, it shouldn't be a big deal. Like it's easy. I mean, Canada is like a very big country. It's like a very big country. The job market is also very wide. So I'm gonna share you some links once we're done with this. I'm gonna share you some links so that you can just go through the job market in Canada so that you would be able to understand you can what kind of jobs are in demand. And I would send you another link wherein you can get to know about more. I mean, the list that I provided is like a very minimal one. So once you go to college, that link you can get to know more about the colleges and then you can do your own research regarding that. So yeah, it shouldn't be a very difficult thing. I mean, it might take a while. Maybe it might not be like as soon as you graduate you get a job. It might take some while, but I think it's better than in India, I believe. Like, I haven't really seen people who graduated and then they're still waiting for a job. I mean, due to this COVID situation, it's a little bad. But before that, like, as far as I've known, as far as like based on the people that I have spoke with, they haven't really told me the difficulty. I mean, again, I can't be so sure about it because I'm still in school. So yeah, this is what I have heard. Any other question?
Okay, yeah, I hope he's satisfied with that answer. There's another question from Janita from Final BCom. How's the finance program there?
Fine. That I mentioned, like I mentioned before, it has a good scope here because Canadians have to file their taxes every year. So if you're into accounting, you can take an accounting program, or you can prepare for something called a CPA. Like if you have if you are doing ACCA back in India, that can be also a channel for CPA. Like you can get exemption for, I'm not sure how many papers, but yeah, you can get exemption for some certain papers, and then you will have to write very few papers for CPA. And then if you have a CPA, that has a pretty good demand here. So yeah, it has a good demand. That's what I would say. I mean, I can say that like that I can sure shot say that. And like yeah, I know. I mean, so yeah.
There's another question from a student. If other than Canada, if you can, do you know like anything about another country like Australia, for example?
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, I can definitely talk about that. So, I talk about I mean it's not like I'm what to say, it's my experience is based on the research that I did, and it's based on whatever I spoke. So starting with Australia. Australia is a beautiful place to raise your family and stuff. But the only problem with Australia is if you, in order to apply for a PR, you can do a course there, and then you can find a job as well. But when you have to apply for your PR, what happens is they have a list of jobs that professions, occupations that are eligible for PR. Under that, there are no management courses. there is only an accounting course. That is something I hope you know. Aromal Chetan, who was in our college before, he does that program. So that is the only program which is eligible for a PR. And they need skilled workers, like proper skilled workers, technical engineers. So they need those kind of people. So if you're one among them, since we are a business school, that's why I didn't really wanted to talk about Australia so much because I don't know how far is it gonna be. But if you're looking for accounting, like if you want to take it to a professional level, they have an accounting course which is eligible for a PR there. And I wasn't really into accounting. That's the reason why I didn't go for Australia. But the place is beautiful. It has a weather which is more or less what we have back in India. Be it the summer or the winter, the winters are not too harsh. So that's what I have heard about Australia. Australia was my first preference. I really wanted to go there, but once I started what to say researching about the courses, this is what I found. And then my next option was New Zealand. So I thought I'd do it. I mean, there is a pathway. Like if you go to New Zealand, you can travel to Australia. There is a pathway like that. So another thing with New Zealand is the place is very small, like very small, and the cities, there are only very few urban areas in New Zealand. The rest everything are rural. So if you go to a rural area, there is no point what to say, you wouldn't be able, it would be very difficult to find a job, especially a part-time job. And the urban areas are pretty much filled, but again, I really wanted to go to New Zealand as well. So yeah, so I had to drop the plan there. I mean, what if I'm not able to find a part-time job? Who will pay my fees? Who will pay my expenses? So I had to drop that. So Australia, New Zealand, and then again, this is based on the research that I did. Okay, Australia, New Zealand, and then UK. UK is also a good place. You, if you have another thing, okay, like if you have more than eight backlogs, you can't apply for Canadian colleges. More than 8 to 10, there are colleges which accept up to 10. Not, there are like very few colleges which accept up to 10, but 8 or 6 is the maximum backlogs that you can have. But in UK, you there is, I mean, they, I don't know about the limit of backlogs that they accept, but they do accept a lot of backlogs as well. So, but the thing is, the stay back option is very less. Like if you complete your program, I guess you would be getting only 1 year stay back, and finding a job after that can be a little difficult. bec- I have a whole family in UK. I could have easily gone to UK, but they themselves told me not to come here because it can be, because my cousins itself, they graduated and they are still finding it hard to find a job. Like I have a cousin who did his master's in accounting, and he is sitting at home for the past 2 years. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, that's the situation with UK. They don't have stay back, but if you're just going for studies, I mean, UK can be a good option. And then the last would be states. So the problem with states is they don't offer stay back, is what I heard. But if you want to go to some good universities, states can be a really good option. But if you're looking for a future, I don't know how far states can be. I mean, a good option. So yeah, this is based on the research that I did, and this is based on what I spoke, whatever knowledge that I gained after talking to people. So yeah, these, I mean, and finally I ended up in Canada for the following reasons that I mentioned. So yeah. Um, any other question?
That's another question from John. Which is your college?
My college is Lambton College in Mississauga, Canada. So again, I haven't really been to my college, man. It's been like what? I came here 8 months back. I haven't really been to my college, and I'm almost finishing my classes. Like next month, I'd be finishing my classes, but I haven't seen my college. So the whole thing was online. But once I am done with my program, I'm really looking forward to, like for international students, it's a different fee. For a permanent residents, it's a different fee. So hopefully, once I get a PR, I might do another course here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that right now. The fees is much cheaper for PR. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's another question from Amila. It's when can you apply for PR?
Okay, so once you complete your program, you need at least 1 year of experience, and then you can apply for PR. But recently, there was like a super cool thing that happened. Everyone who graduated in the year of 2019, they could directly apply for PR without any work experience. And they didn't even need, like, they also needed to write IELTS, but they needed a very minimum score of about five or something, five or four. I mean, that's like anyone who go and write could have got that score. So yeah, it was like TR to PR. So once you're done with your studies, you can directly be eligible. Even though only 40,000 slots were open, I mean, if you just go and apply, if you are all good, then I mean, that was another thing. I'm really hoping they bring out that program again so that I don't really have to wait for my work experience. With my diploma itself, I can just apply for a PR. So I'm really hoping for that. If not, it's better if you have a, because PR comes with a point system. So your age matters, your degree matters, and then if you're married, and there are a lot of factors to be considered when for the point system. So it's always better if you have a 1 year work experience, and then if you have a Canadian diploma, you would get much more points to apply for the PR. So that's like a whole different story. So yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, I guess there's no questions, but Mamta ma'am is like posted. She's happy to witness your progress. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best for your
Thank you
studies.
so
Cheers.
much. I mean, I'm really happy. So many questions. I mean, I never expected, to be honest, but I'm really happy that I could share whatever I know, because I consulted an agency. It didn't really work out for me. It did work out for a lot of people, but it didn't really work out for me. So every time when someone, I know few people have already reached out to me. The thing with me is I'm a little slow with replies, but still, do feel free to reach out. Like if you have any questions at any point of time, I mean, if you have to message twice or thrice, don't mind, because I'm a little off with WhatsApp. So just feel free to message at any point of time if you have any doubts. I'd be more than happy, because I don't want the kind of confusions that I had. I don't want you guys to go through that. So feel free to message me at any point of time, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. Give a call. I mean, yeah, if I'm awake, I'd be more than happy to answer your call. But I'm so happy that I got a lot of questions, which I really didn't expect it, even though we are just about 30. I mean, I had a really good time. I was a little nervous as well, but I mean, I feel good. I feel really good. I can peacefully, what to say, have my rest of the day. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Um,
Okay, the questions are still coming. There's another question from Amala. Like she's
mhm.
asking, does high band score help with PR credit?
Oh yeah, definitely. So there is something called as okay. So in order to apply for a PR, it is always better if you have triple eight seven. So for there are four modules when it comes to IELTS. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So for listening, it's always better if you can score a 8, and then for the rest of the modules, if you score 7, you get a CLB 9, and if you get like 8, 8.5, it goes to CLB 10, which means your point would be increased. Like for example, I don't know the exact point. For example, if CLB 9 has 15 points, CLB 10 would have 20 or 25. CLB 8, which is like less, like somewhere in 6 and 7. CLB 10, CLB 7 would have a much lesser score. So the more you score in IELTS, the more points you get for the PR. Yeah, I yeah. Anything
So the
else?
next question is from Rinchi from Mandya
Mhm.
B.Com. Which is a good place to do MBA?
Which is a good place. Like I mentioned, like I have given a whole bunch of suggestion for universities. You can just go through them. You can look into the fees, and when you look into the colleges, make sure you look into the places as well. Just don't go to some college and then be abandoned there. So if you want, you can just ask me when you look for a university. You can just ask me as well, like regarding the place. I mean, the suggestions for the universities that I give, they're like top universities. I mean, yeah, you can just refer them. Moreover, as I mentioned, share like, so what you can do is someone I okay. Let me see. I think I have Eben's number. So I'll just forward a few links. So you can just put it in the chat because unfortunately I'm not able to see the chat here. So Eben, can you please do that for me? I know I have his number, so I hope he's here. I mean, if you're here, can you please forward those? Mm. Did you get the links? Oh, wait, I'm not sure if he's here. I mean, who else is here? Let me see if I have Amla's number.
Eben
Hmm.
is here, right?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh,
Evan is
you
here.
did it? You get it? Oh, got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so these are some of the resources. And then there is, if you go for, these are the main provinces that I spoke about. Then there is something called as Atlantic provinces, where people really, not much people go there. And it's the places are still kind of abandoned. So in order to promote those places, places like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, so there are a couple of places. So the benefit of going to those places is if you do a 2-year program, you're directly eligible for PR. So I have put a link for that as well, Atlantic Immigration Pilot. So if you want, if you're interested, you can look into that as well. And then Edu Canada, you can find a whole bunch of information regarding Canada studies and all the things. And then if you're looking for some programs, colleges in Ontario, I hope the first link should help. So yeah. I mean, most importantly, do your research. Spend time and do your research. Don't just blindly believe. I mean, you don't even have to blindly believe what I say. These are based on my experiences, but do your research. I mean, whatever time it takes, you can start your research now. Like those who are in your final year, do your research, and yeah, that can definitely help you. So yeah, any other questions? Mm, do we have anything else?
Okay, so time being, there's no questions, but thank you so much, and it was really helpful. This is something which, how much we surf what's it's really confusing for us also. So thank you so much for being so, enthusiastic and sharing about all this. It was not the boring, typical seminars we attend. So thank you so much. I want to ask if anyone has any question pending. Feel free, please. And Evan has posted the chat box, so you can check it later. And if anyone has a doubt, you can contact her later.
Yeah, sure. I mean, please feel free to. If you don't have my number, you can message me on Instagram. I mean, anyway, just make sure you do ask. I mean, don't hesitate. Again, if it might take a while to get the reply, but still, I'll try to answer as much as possible. If I don't know, I would definitely ask someone who knows about it. And yeah, and I'm really happy. I don't know about you guys, man. I'm really happy for today. Okay, so is that all? Is that
We are also really happy to have you with us. I guess that's all. We don't have any questions from anyone, I guess. So, I think right now I would like to invite Janita to give the vote of thanks.
So, a very good evening to all. It's my honor to have been asked to offer a vote of thanks for this webinar. On behalf of the college and the entire management, I'm very grateful to our resource person, Ms. Anjari, for the insightful talk. We are fortunate that our resource person was our alumni. I'm happy to say that she was my senior, super senior actually. She was such a brilliant and strong student. She was always into the stage shows, doing MCs and other events. She's such a confident person, and that confidence in her is really an inspiration for all of us. I'm sure that every one of us is really inspired by you. Thank you, Anne, for your time and support. Now, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Reverend Father Baiju Anthony, our principal, who arranged such a useful session for us. Thank you, Father. I also take this opportunity to thank our faculties for being there in the session. Also, I thank the technical team and all other coordinators for making this event into reality. Last but not the least, I'm thankful to all the participants for coming here and attending this session and making this event a success. Thank you all.
Just as we wind up, just want to thank Joshi sir. Joshi sir as the in charge of the career guidance cell. He has done all the groundwork, contacting and planning everything with other people. So a special thanks to him, and we miss him today. And a special thanks to Grishma. Last moment she had to jump in to take the place of um, our Joshi sir to organize this program today. So thanks to Grishma as well, and to our technical team, Raghu and team. So once again, thanks, and nice seeing you, and be well. Okay.
Okay, I guess.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Have a nice day. Have a nice day for you.
You too, guys. Have a good night. And
Okay. Bye.
I hope I can see you all soon again.
Yes. Welcome. Anytime.
Yeah, sure. Okay, guys. Bye
Bye
and
bye. Bye
thank you.
bye. Bye.